let's talk about the big interview. You spent some
get
time
everything.
on the couch with Mel B. Tell us everything.
Okay, so this interview was kind of a big deal for me in particular because it was like she wrote this incredible book. She's heard stories that were very difficult for her to talk about. We talked about Eddie Murphy. We talked about the baby. We talked about the abuse, depression, suicide attempt. But I wanted to also talk about this thing that we hadn't heard anything about, and really how Simon Cowell kind of saved her life at one point.
I mean, he is my father figure, you know, and he's always been there, if not knowing what's going on, just there just for support. Like, Melanie, if ever you need to talk, or you know that I'm always here for you. I don't need to know the details of anything, but I can sense that you're a little bit wobbly. And so he's always been very emotionally supportive, probably sometimes without even realizing it.
Yeah. How did you guys develop that? Because you mentioned in the book that at one point people might have thought that something was going on between you two, even though it wasn't. Even though it wasn't, because you did have this kind of unspoken connection with each other.
Yeah, I think because we have a great deal of respect for each other. You know, Simon sent me off to Australia, to the UK, to help him with his shows on the panel. He goes, Melanie, I need one of you in my team playing field on the panel. Go in there and save my show, help me with my show, bring back the spice. I'm like, yeah, of course I will.
You talk about an exchange you had with him, it looked like backstage, where you were everything was kind of unraveling, and he saw it in you, saw you breaking.
Yeah.
And said to you, what's going on, right?
There were a few times when, sometimes it was without words, where he'd just look at me as if to say, I could see it, something's going on, just know that I'm here. But there was that time backstage when he grabbed my hand and was like, you're all right, are you all right? And you know, when you're in that kind of abusive marriage that I was in, you don't want anybody to know, because if I admit that to somebody else at that point, then I'd have to admit it to myself.
Right.
And I wasn't really ready for that, because I didn't know what would happen after that if I was to actually go, okay, this is what's happening, doesn't feel right, I know it's not right, I have to get out. And I wasn't ready to get out. And I mean, I left a few times throughout my marriage, but then I always ended up going back. It's like being in a hamster wheel, and that's a lot of what people do in my situation. Yeah.
He said, he was one of the first people, really, that you talked to about what was going on in your life.
Yeah.
And I believe in the book, he said, we have to call off the shoot. Like, let's just take a break, let's pause. And you said what?
No, I probably said, no, the show must go on.
Basically.
Something like that.
The show must go on. No, we have to do this. Let's finish work.
Because work to me was my safety. It was when I went home, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I was crying for help in many different ways, but didn't actually think that anybody would believe me, or that anybody would notice what's going on.
Did Simon believe you?
Oh yeah, 100%. He knew something was going on and probably feared the worst for me, and the worst did happen. But yeah, it's been quite the journey. And even writing this book, you know, listening to what he saw and his opinion, also my daughter who's 19, also my mum, and about 10, 12 of my close friends that were around me at the time that all this abuse was happening. I thought I was shielded, that I put on a brave face and said, you know, my marriage is great.
No one can tell. I'm doing a good job hiding it, and you were not.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hiding the obvious stuff by covering up, but you know, you could see it in my eyes. You
call Simon you thank him as your TV dad. I wonder what he thought then of your relationship with Belafonte. Did he ever give you like the idea that he approved or disapproved?
No, I think him, along with many others, didn't dare go there. It was just, well, I'm here if you need me. And everybody just kind of put up with him.
Because you were there.
Because I was there.
Yeah.
If it was a case of, if he has to come along, then that's okay. Well, at least we get Melanie.
Wow, I love the support that Simon gave her.
Yeah, I do want to mention that Stephen Belafonte denies any abuse towards Mel. We're going to have much more tonight.